Right, folks, so this is a new project I'm starting. Well, I've mentioned it before, but I wanted to build a cabaret Donkey Kong cab, and it's got a funny shape. It's actually quite small. There's another platform coming here, so it'll be about that high altogether. It comes to about, let's see, here. Yeah, it's like what, 4 foot high or something like that. It's quite small, but it's tidy and nice. So what I've got of the internet, excuse me, what I've got of the internet is schematics, well, plans and dimensions. So I'm actually just right now just cutting and arranging everything to size. So this is where the control panel will come. This will be the rest for the screen, rest for the monitor, and then these are just little sections of wood to glue everything together. So it kind of fits slots together. So this will be the base, and this is all the dimensions of all the stuff I've measured here. As you can see, it's quite funny angles and bits, but I just wanted to make sure that these were right on each side, so that they match. So they do. And what I'm doing right now is cutting these little bars. This is an old piece of I don't know what this was, back of a bed or something like that, but I'm just cutting these pieces that will essentially just fit here. Might as well reuse as much as I can. So I will glue and screw them in place, and then so I'll do that before I can even put the sides up and the back. So the plan right now is to have this finished today, hopefully. Have everything glued in place today, and the next time I can start making the sides and putting the box together, and then the real fun will start, because then we'll have to paint it. We'll have to find a decent monitor. I think I have one I can use already, and then we'll have to find obviously a Crazy Kong board I have, but do all the harness and wiring inside, and paint it, do all the decals, cutting the groups for the T-molding. So there's still, quite a bit to do. I'll show you the monitor I have. This is actually another thing I've done recently. I've finished, or I've made another section of this attic bit. And hello, Fiona. And so we have a lot more space now. As you can see, we had the stairs, but it's great because it gives me a lot of room to put all my old PCs and monitors and spares. I have a ton of spares. Yeah, PlayStation stuff and a lot of, about 5 or 6 mega drives. Anyway, I have these Philips monitor, not these ones. These are L61 chassis, and this is the one I used for the video I was showing you a while back. And the problem with this one, actually, I can't really use it because there's no horizontal alignment. So the picture is actually off the screen about that much. So I can't really use these screens for arcade monitors after all that. However, what I can use is these old Philips VG80. I've done a video on these. I have about 3 of these, and they're quite easy to get still, surprisingly. It's funny because if you look at online, you'll find the Amiga version, which is essentially the same monitor, just with the Amiga, the Commodore title on it, and they go for much higher. The only difference in them is the Commodore logo and the fact that they're beige, but these were actually the same monitor. They were all made by Philips, or licensed by Commodore from Philips. Philips used to get them made in was it Taiwan? Taiwan, yeah. There you go. So there you go. I might use one of this. I'll probably use this one, because on this one the button is dead, and there's a button on the side, so it's not really nice, but they all work. This was my original one I had when I was a kid. The one I have another one in my room, to test. So I'll probably use this one. It's for 14-inch monitor with a 13-inch overall display. So the width is 14-inch side to side, but the display is 13. That's usually how things are measured. People in America like to say 13 and 19, give odd numbers, whereas in fact in Europe these are the same monitor, but we call them 14 and 20 inch, but they're the same size. Anyway, so that's the plan. So I'll keep going and get everything cut and see how far I go today. And there you go. So I have these glued and screwed in place. It should be solid enough. I have another one here. I'll actually clean this a bit, the glue. There you go. So now I'm going to leave this to dry, and then I'll start working on the base. Or actually, how do I think of it? I could actually already make the front and the top and bottom back, because here we'll basically have, this should be, I need to think about this. This should be the back here somewhere, so that we can slide the monitor out of it. And this way, and then because the monitor will be on a plate that rests on this, so I need to check the schematics, but even if it's not like that, I would probably make it that way so that this slides out for the monitor. So there's a space here left for the monitor to slide out. Yes, probably what I'll do. So I'll do the back here. Should be just this wide, the bottom, and then the front, and it should actually keep it together in a box, tight and nice and solid. So I have something to show you at the end of today. So that went quite fast once I had all the dimensions sorted and written down. Sourcing the dimension was actually somewhat tricky. I'll show you what I've got them here, but I'll show you what I did. So this is SketchUp, and I got a SketchUp model of the cab. So this is what the cab will look like, but instead of having I use the dimensions here for just general width, just to cut the overall shape. But when it comes to stuff like that, there's an AutoCAD model that is floating around that I got. It's easy to get. I think you go to classicarcadegames.com or something like that. And unfortunately, I don't have AutoCAD, so I used to get the dimension. So I used the JPEG of the AutoCAD. There's an online viewer that allows you to actually view the dimensions, the AutoCAD file, but there's no dimension. So I used that, and then I used that as a texture on the SketchUp model, just to use that as a texture to size. Sorry, I'm actually out of breath here. And then from here I can actually just draw lines and then get the dimensions. There's a dimension tool here that tells you, okay, this is here, this is 5 1/4 inches, and etc. etc. So I did a lot of that, and then I was able to get all the approximated dimensions. Here I changed the model slightly, in the sense that this bar here, this blocking bar, where normally the box will rest, I've actually lifted that up slightly, and I'll make the box slightly bigger because I don't have wood thick enough. Well, I could double it, I suppose. Didn't think about that. Anyway, so that's my plan for now. Right, this is more of the cab. So I've put the box here for the control panel. At some point I will actually need to make a box here for the display, because normally there's a sticker here that says Donkey Kong, but I actually want to have it lit up, so I'm gonna have to open something here, and and but I can do that after. That's okay. I got the back and bottom glued. I'll clean all this before I need to paint it anyway. But right now, while this is all drying, I'm just playing around with the monitor. So this, I don't know if you remember, I had made this video of making a small frame for this monitor chassis. The problem with these are Philips L61 chassis, but you can't change the horizontal positioning, so some of the graphics is offside by a bit. But luckily I've got these VG80 Philips monitor. Now these are still quite cheap on the internet, and they work quite well, so I'm going to use one of these. And the way it'll work is when you open the back here, you can slide the whole chassis and assembly on this plate here, like so. I might actually need to cut a small notch here for a bit of extra space, but that's roughly the idea. So if I need to disconnect everything, and I can slide out the entire monitor like that. So I'm gonna have to find a way to align this properly on here so that I can sit the chassis on the other side. Literally just put the chassis down and bolt it to these. So I'm gonna have to find a way to do all this, but it's okay. So that's my job for today. Yeah, I'll need to find the center, draw a few lines, and then align this so it's actually nice and square, and the monitor is horizontal like that, because this is Donkey Kong whipping. So there you go, some progress here right now. Right, there you go. I got the monitor in sort of a chassis frame type of thing. So that's the old one. It's sticking out slightly, and there's not much I can do about that because that's just the angle it's at. So I'm gonna have to cut it here. It's okay. This is just to provide some form of not protection, but just sturdiness to the whole thing. And then because I'm catching it from these bolts here, so I just want to make sure that it's sort of clamped between that piece of wood. So that's alright. I'll just cut this here so I can actually have a back door at the back of this, and then I had to cut this notch so that the monitor slides in and out easily. So there's a couple of problems here that I was hoping that I could put the monitor underneath, but that doesn't really work. It'll provide too much. It won't be strong enough really, and I won't get a good grip on this frame. So I have to put it sitting on top. It's probably safer like that. The only problem is that the dimensions were probably off by quite a bit. So essentially I thought there would be enough of a gap between the two bars that I have running here. So this is sitting on one of the bars. Hold on, there you go, it's here. But it's not enough, and it's actually sticking out by too much. Let me show you. So if I have the glass coming over here, you see there, it's just all this gap here. My fault. I should have. See, I made this thinking that essentially this would actually be under this plate, so there'll be all this gap here to play with, and I actually spaced them a bit wider yet. So no, not to worry. I mean, I'm gonna have to just put these here, essentially, so the glass will be slightly higher, and it actually works out okay because the control panel, I'm gonna make that out of thicker wood here, something like that. There you go. And then this wood, and then there'll be a slight sheet of metal just above that, so the control panel sits on that. So it's working out just fine. I'm gonna have to work something out here, maybe have this sticking out slightly then, although I don't like doing that. I want to be as accurate as possible. Sorry, there you go, that was the right side. Gonna have to mark the top here on this piece, because anyway, and the other problem is that I have a slight gap here, and that's because I didn't think properly. You can see here the gap between the edge and here is actually smaller and it's bigger here. So that means the whole cab is probably not perfectly squared. And when I say not perfectly square, yeah, there you go. So I'm right on the edge here, and there's this gap over there. Let me try here. Yeah, so I have a gap. So I'm flush here, but here I have a gap, and I would suspect the gap would be much bigger over there. It's not easy doing this with one hand. Yeah, there you go. Not great work, Ali, but it'll have to do. I've glued and screwed everything now, so if I dismantle it, I have to rip it apart. So there's not much I can do about this other than I'm gonna have to, I hate saying this, but I'm gonna have to Bondo this just to even hide it. Or the other option is to maybe cut it a bit. No, there's not much. Yeah, it's just that's shoddy job on my part. But anyway, not to worry. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use some filler here and sculpt the last edge, but that's okay. So here we'll have those bars, and this is the plexiglass that'll go here, so it'll actually sit on the edge of this. It looks dark, but once it's all lit up, it'll actually just, the colors will pop out. You're probably better off using some darker glass in general. It hides all the all the screen burns as well. Not that this one has a screen burn, but the colors sort of pop out because they really pop out of the dark, as opposed to have a clear glass. Very often you'll see the Gallagher's like that, and that's actually to hide some of the screen burn. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So that's the progress so far. Pretty happy with it. It's gonna look ace when it's all done. So now I am waiting. So I'm gonna clamp these guys. Sorry. Okay, go away. I'm gonna glue and clamp them in place. If I try to screw them in place, they'll probably just break because they're a bit thin and brittle. So I'm just gonna clamp them in place. This I'm not gonna clamp anywhere because I need to be able to remove it. So I'm gonna have to find some hinges. Yeah, probably has to open this way. So I'm gonna have to find hinges, and then, or do I? Yeah, the other option is to get these clamps here. I'm gonna have to source them. Anyway, the actual arcade clamps, or panel clamps. So the next thing I need to do now, obviously I need to build a sort of an opening here with a small box inside. Make a small box. It's just to host the lights for the marquee, and then it's going to be a door here, and I haven't decided what type of door I want. It'd be nice to get a Nintendo type door, but they're really hard to find and they're going to be very expensive, so I might just put a generic door. Might be the best solution. And then yeah, so that's the front. Right now, before I glue the top here and put the top, I'm waiting on the router bit to do the T-molding. So I'm going to do that. I need to actually smooth that down, create a curve here, make sure they match. That's another mistake I made. I should have made this when they were just cut. I kind of rushed. I just wanted to get it assembled, and so once I have the T-molding grooves, it'll be easier. I can do that here. I want to do one for the front as well. I don't think that's in the original, but it'll look nicer, I think. So the top will go to about here, and then after that I can start with the Bondo work, because this was wood that some of it I bought, one sheet I bought, but the other one was here and it has some damage, but I'd rather reuse everything, and just to hide a bit of the screw holes and that kind of stuff. So do the Bondo work. Cut this. Yeah, work in progress. But oh, and I need to do the bottom as well. There's actually a box at the bottom, so this sits slightly higher by about, I'd say 6 inches higher. Anyway, and it's just a lot of cabs have these. It's just a protection from the from dampness on the ground, so the base of the cab isn't directly in contact with the floor. It would have a smaller another base underneath it. So I need to do that and put that on wheels, so it'll be easier to bring it to the other shed. So there you go. Slowly but surely. Okay, so I've made again some progress on the Crazy Kong cabaret, Donkey Kong cabaret. So I've just rounded the top here. I've made my opening for the. This is gonna be. Where's it gone? Actually, I should put it aside. It's going to be where the Donkey Kong marquee is. I'm going to put that on clear. Can I actually do it just to stay, to get an idea? I'm going to put that on clear plexiglass so it shines through. I'll have to find a way to maybe glue a small ridge here. Or no, I know. So I've put just bars here, so just to put extra support, but I'll put a plate here at the back, but I have it slightly spaced so I can slide the plexiglass this way. That's what I'll do. And then have I enough room to do grooves here? No, I'll have to find a way to have the grooves just stay, but that's it's not a big deal. Actually, I'm not sure I can do that. I shouldn't glue this and then straight away. I hope this should be still fresh, so I think I can take it out relatively easily. There you go. So I can actually slide it like that. Yes, there you go. My mistake. So, what else have I done? So I've glued this in place. Don't think I need. It's not structural really. I don't need to screw it in place. I've done my back box, so it's slightly higher now. The ground isn't terribly even, so it's all wobbly. And I've cut the monitor, so it's right on the edge here. It doesn't look like it is, but it is. Do I need to? Yes, it is. So that's room now for the back door. I need to cut a small notch here so I can have the power cable going in. But I think the box is getting there, so now I'm still waiting for the groove maker for the T-molding. As soon as I get that, I can make the top plate. I can cut the holes and the air vent as well, the Nintendo air vent. I need to cut that and cut the hole for the door. I need to source a door, or will I use the one I have? It might be too big. I don't know yet. But yeah, I suppose I should do that before I cut the hole. Actually, I can cut the hole later in the process. That's not a big deal. But anyway, so once I have at least the grooves done for the T-molding, I can't give it a coat of paint. So inside will be black here. The front is black, the box is black, and the sides and the top, the outside of the top has a wood veneer, and then the back again is black, I think. Or is it a wood veneer? I'll have to double check. But the sides have that wood veneer sort of effect. So I'll have to order some of that as well. But yeah, before I do any of that, I need to give it a coat of primer and paint, and black paint for the inside. Well, for the box here. Inside, I'll probably paint it white because it just makes it much brighter if you're working on anything inside. Because a lot of cans are very dark and they're painted black, and it just makes repairing anything in cab very, very hard. So anyway, that's the next step for me. Waiting for the T-molding router bit. Okay, so I have my T-molding groove done. I actually went a bit too hard with the router and got it out of alignment, and ended up eating a bit too much of this, so filled it with Bondo. This is the blade I use, and so essentially this blocks against the edge, and you get that exact depth. Essentially this depth from here to the edge of the blade. And yeah, it's a funny one, it's a tricky one to use, especially with this router. I have to press manually. I can't just set the depth and then block it. So I can set it, but then I have to actually manually press, so it's easy to get out of alignment, as you can see. I went out here as well. Anyway, I started doing the Bondo as well, just to smooth out all the holes and the edges. So I did the first layer, sanded, and now I'm just gonna do a smoothing layer, just to get some of the little gaps and holes. Yeah, that should be nice and trim, and then after that we can start painting the cap. So I'm gonna put actually I missed a spot here. Oh, and I still need to do the top. I have my actually groove cut in this section, so I just need to cut it somewhere here and glue that up. Will I screw it? I might as well screw it as well, and glue and screw, and then we can paint. Okay, so I've put my top on here. A couple of problems. I had a gap here, so I'm actually just using tape to prevent it from sticking through the wooden top here. But I'm just filling that gap here, and then just smoothing the rest of the Bondo fill everywhere. And I'm gonna have a gap here that I'm gonna have to fill as well. I could have actually just cut at an angle, but I wasn't sure what that angle was, and everything here right now was an approximation, but it'd be alright. I can actually fill that up with I'm going to use a very thin strip here that I'll glue, and then fill the rest with Bondo, or isopon. And the other thing is here, this wood, that's the only wood I've left to do this. I have this bit, but it's a bit too thin, and I think it got a bit damp at some point, but so that's the only thick one I have, and it's got a lot of that, wood grain and texture. So as I'm going, I'm actually mixing my Bondo on it, so it'll fill a bit of the gaps. I have more Bondo to do at the bottom as well, so I'm going to use that to as a platform to mix my isopon Bondo filler. We'll call it filler, and that way it'll start filling some of the gap, and then I can sand it and then refill it again, so I'll get a smooth finish. It's going to be a similar problem on the inside, although that's not too bad, because really when you're playing you can't really see that much the top. But I'll see if I've leftover Bondo, I'll fill that up as well. And then I have my groove here done. I'm gonna put I'm not sure the original had, but there's no marquee here, so I'll just put well, the marquee's here, sorry. Originally it wasn't gonna be lit, but I'll put a light box here. But I'm not sure it's in the original, but I'll put a T-molding here as well. I have some leftover, and I'll order more. Anyway, at this stage I'm just gonna wait for this to dry, to glue. I'll screw this. I'll put about 3 screws on each side, and we should be ready to paint. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay, well, the guys, I think here is actually a good place to end it. The structurally pretty much finished, and now we're going to start with the first layer of cosmetics, the painting it. Anyway, so I'm going to end this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting, and I'll see you next time. the idea is to have this as a control panel, and I'm hoping, yeah, I can use this as a, I just need to trim it a bit, but that's the idea. And I kept that sort of ledge, so I can use that. Perfect. Well, perfect. I need to fill in the holes here, but that's not a problem. So on top of this guy, I actually needed a thicker, slightly thicker piece of wood. The reason being that my glass will actually come in and wedged against that. So there you go. So next, I need to, yeah, I need to find clamps as well for this guy, but not too happy about the edge either. I would have hoped, do you know what, I might need to redo another one and have the edge come lower. Would this actually clear it? No, probably not either. Can I don't think I get the clearance I need with this thickness of wood here. It would actually cover it, yeah, but I don't get the that sort of bump. Although I could just actually add a small strip here that would do that. So maybe have a very thin strip that would actually just fall right under here. This is a bit too wide, but something like that actually wouldn't be too bad. And then we're sort of deviating here from the original design, but I don't think I have much of a choice. And then this guy would actually just naturally wedge against that, and that wouldn't make it too bad if I actually found a way to smooth it out, because without it, actually, I'm just going to wedge this here for now. There you go. Without it, actually it's not super straight, it actually just wedges. It's actually completely flush with it, not here. And there's a small angle. That's interesting. I should probably have that still a bit higher. And then, maybe I should build up, because I did actually correct the height here. You can see how much I've added in just fiberglass just to bring it level, because there was a small recess, but I think it needs another mill. That's going to be it's not going to be an easy one to do, but I might need to do that, and then I'll actually have just the height I need. Because here it actually is flush. So yeah, so that wouldn't be too bad. Or I might need to do that. Leave a gap and have a small band here of T-molding. That might be the easiest approach. Have some T-molding here that I can remove. And I'll see. Anyway, that's my panel here done. And I just need, yeah, you can see the difference in height. That was my mistake. But once it's all, oh, I need to fill that small gap. But once it's all sanded and painted, you won't see the seams. Hopefully, that's the plan. And that's actually dry. Probably could do with a sand right now. Anyway, I'll keep going. Okay, so I've put my first layer of black paint, sanded a lot of stuff. Actually, there was I didn't spot it, but there was glue left here and here and here. So I sanded all that down a bit, and gonna put another layer of paint. Here for this top here, I thought I could actually just get the use some of the leftover fillers to smooth down the wood, but there's still big kind of gaps and holes. So not sure what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be covered by a wood veneer. So there'll be wood veneer on the side here and here, and the front will be black. The front here is not too bad. There's still a bit of sanding that I have to do here. Here I haven't filled anything, but I think it'll be okay. Although, yeah, I don't know. I might need to refill and sand, because when the light shines from the game, that might just make this too obvious. I'll see. But lesson learned. I shouldn't have used. I should actually have gone over to the shop and get another layer of this section of this, because this is a bit too much work. And I took it because I had it and I thought I'd save some money, but I ended up having to buy. I'm gonna end up to buy filler, just to make up for all the gaps. I used filler here just to fill that edge here, and that saved me having to cut an angle because I wasn't sure what the angle was. And yeah, other than that, yeah, I'm gonna do my second coat of paint on the inside and back and front. Other than that, it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's gonna clean up nicely once you get the wood veneer. It's gonna start looking like a proper cab. So I'm gonna order some wood veneer at some point, but next is gonna be the control panel layout. Build one. So here's the finished cab, well, the painting. It's mostly there. I kind of like, yeah, the seam isn't fully hidden here, and but it's back, it's okay. But here, I know where it is, but I don't think you can really see the seam between the base and the top. And then I did my best to smooth out everything here. Still have that problem over here, but that's okay. And then the back, I'm gonna have to live with these, or do I? Will I fill them? Am I better off? I do have some resin, epoxy resin, liquid, very liquid resin. Am I better off actually just filling these, or getting some more filler? I'm gonna have to get more filler anyway. I might do that. So there you go. And also I've done another, this was the panel, the metal I cut. I've actually cut another one from the other half, because the ledge here was deeper. So normally what you have here is a wooden panel, and then it's about that thickness, and then there's a T-molding groove and T-molding going here. But I kind of like the feel of metal for a control panel in general, so I'm going to use this. I bond these together with the epoxy resin, and then fill the holes, and then put my overlay in place and drill my holes for the joystick and the buttons. And then here, try and show you what the cab will essentially, once I have my monitor in place. But essentially this goes in this way, So you slide it in and it'll be locked. Come on. No, this goes over there. There you go. So it'll be nice and flush. I need to cut another one of these anyway. This was just a rough template. But there you go. There you go. It's starting to look like a cab now. Oh no! Okay, I've cleaned up my mess and I've put in. Sorry, dude, I startled you. I've cleaned up my mess and put the cab back in because it started raining, but it's actually better here. You can see the smooth finish I was going for here, and the seam there at the bottom is barely visible. So that's not too bad. Here I don't have to worry too much about finish, although I slightly sanded it, but you still have a bit of roughness to it because I want some key for the vinyl and here. So vinyl will go here, but I'm not sure exactly because we still have those sort of big grooves and it's not ideal. I think it'll be okay. I might actually just re-sand that because here we have vinyl anyway. We have vinyl overlay, the wood veneer stuff, so I don't really have to worry too much about what it looks like underneath, but I wanted a primer on it, but I might actually just sand that smooth. It's a lot of work, but I think it'll be worth it. Inside I haven't painted. I might actually just put a coat of white inside, just for the sake of visibility. There you go. Kind of wish I had the door and I'd been able to cut the door here, but I can do that afterwards. That's not a big deal. And I've recut another panel because actually it's raining a bit, isn't it? Yeah. Put that in. But I might. What was I saying? I forgot. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I might need to. Well, I need to cut a door and change the panel here because the edge was a bit too well, not deep enough essentially, and you could actually see the build-up of epoxy that I've done just to keep everything level so that doesn't move. You know, what's it? It's actually nice and flush and level. Go away, fly. Well, be. So there you go. Actually, I can see just a hint that there's a screw gun here, but otherwise it's not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty okay. So I'm gonna bond the wood underneath and fill those holes, and then I can use my control panel overlay and mark where all my holes are gonna be. The other thing I need to do here is cut out maybe something that fits, because there's a small gap here. You can see the small gap. Although when there's a back plate, you won't actually be able to see anything, but it's still, yeah, it'd be nice to get something a bit that's actually straight here, because there's a gap. Here's fine, but here there's actually a good gap. I might need to recut another one of these. That's fine, I've loads of these upstairs. And then I'm gonna reuse this to create a bezel. I'm gonna cut it here, and that'll make my bezel for my screen. So I just need then just dark cardboard just overlay like that on top of and yeah, that's actually, I'm just rambling here, but that's all I need. Just a dark cardboard overlay, the bezel, and it'll be nice and neat. It's starting to take shape, guys. Yeah, really happy with it. So what'll I order next? I'm not sure. I'll see what's available online first. I'm gonna look for wood veneer because I'd like to get that done and get the T-molding as well. I need brown T-molding. It's actually brown T-molding to go with the wood veneer that goes on top of this. I'm gonna have to source then. Oh no, I need to make the plate here to host the. Go away. A plate here to host the light, the marquee light, and find a way to actually wedge that. Not sure how I'm gonna do that. Actually, that might be my next move. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next, and then try and source wood veneer and some browned T-molding. Yes. Just to give you a rough idea of what this is going to look like. So I've actually I'll show you here. I've actually put a plate here, and I've just stuck this in front of a small sheet of plexiglass, and essentially the way I have it is that this sheet here where this is slide, and I have those grooves here, and there's a groove here, supporting bars over there, so I can actually take it out like that from here, and then it'll slide down and slot in there, hopefully. Yes. There you go. And then I'm gonna stick, so this is a sticker, I'll stick the Donkey Kong marquee on that, and I'll do another, I'll close the box here, and I'll have a LED lights, essentially just lighting this thing. I might do a bar, actually a hanging floating bar like that, maybe from here to here, or I'm not sure exactly how I'll do this, but actually that's not a bad idea, just have a floating bar, or maybe a block the light altogether. And then I have the control panel, which sits roughly here. So I've had this actually for a while, and it was slightly too big. So you can see here, there's nice rounded edges with those strips, but I had to cut them out, unfortunately. Not sure what I did wrong here, because I'm pretty sure it's the correct width, so maybe this was a bit too wide, and this is certainly the right width anyway. So and then we have the play stickers that'll actually come here, so I'll put these on top of the plexiglass. I'll put these last because I'm not sure. I want to see what the result is with this sort of dark glass, and if it suits, I'll put them on that then. And I know exactly how I'm gonna create an opaque here. I'm actually gonna once everything is in place, I'll put the bezel from the monitor over there, and once it's in place, I'll put some masking tape here, and I'll flip it over. I'll put a masking tape on the other side, exactly at the same spots, and then I'll paint the underside. You can flip it back, and it'll be all dark and opaque. So that's how I'm going to go around this one, and then put these guys here. Actually, this one might be going over there. I'm not sure. Yeah, width-wise, it makes more sense. So there you go. I need to source a proper leaf switch joystick and proper leaf switch buttons. So I'll probably source original Nintendo stuff. These are okay, but they're micro switches, and they play okay for more 90s games, but for something like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, you really want, like I have in the Galaga, those leaf switch ones. So there you go, you get an idea what it's gonna look like. And imagine that you have the coin door and the nice wood veneer on the side. Anyway, let's keep going. I've done a number of things here today, and I'm gonna call it a day now. But I've done my power supply stuff, so we've got the mains coming here into being distributed. I have a switch here, just emergency switch. Doesn't hurt to have one. And then it's actually a fuse in there, so I don't need one here. There's a fuse in here, and there's a fuse in that monitor. So yeah, the power is going into the switching power supply, and this is here going into the monitor. I'm using my old so this is the assembly for the old Philips VS80 monitor. So I've put it was kind of hard actually to fit everything in the chassis, but this is the power here, the main board, and then the neck board and the tube. I've made a little SCART plug that goes straight from the JAMA edge connector. So all we have here is really RGB, sync is white and ground. So that's the beauty of a SCART. Actually, it fits all formats. And I've my PCB here, Crazy Kong, and lo and behold, and there you go, it's running. Now I haven't plugged anything else, so none of the. Oh, see, I've done my panel, so it's actually pretty much wedges nicely here. So it's gonna be nice. But I've put a piece of wood behind, drilled my holes. Right now I'm using a micro switch system, but I'll change that to a leaf switch connectors. I've them on order, so hopefully whenever they arrive. But it's all here, and so now really, well, I need to connect everything. And I need to put the lights, sound, controllers connected, and I still need. I know it's on the way, so I have actually the T-molding, brown T-molding. I've put T-molding here as well on the edge just to make things a bit cleaner. I need to put a few patches of paint on the corners. But there you go. There you go. We've got stuff working, and it's starting to take shape. Pretty happy. So I still have to make a back door as well for it. But pretty happy right now about the way it's turning out. There you go. And also I've made a small slot here, because we've got these, don't know if you can see them, but these pots, long pots, these guys here that are actually at the front, and I've made a little groove in them, so I can actually just use a plastic screwdriver and then reach out and then tune them. So there you go. It's starting to look very nice indeed.
Okay, now I'm up. Oh no, I'm up. Oh no, I'm up. Oh, no!
So there you go. I have put the cut a hole actually for the speaker. I measured it from the original Nintendo dimensions, and did a rough estimation cut. It's not perfect, but it'll have to do, I suppose. And then I've painted the back actually here black, so you can actually sort of make out. But actually, it's working out quite all right actually. In isolating just the screen. So we still have the stickers here to come here. They're actually over. Where are they? Should be here or this one. There's a series of side stickers. Actually, this one we come here for the coin door. There you go. And then we have these stickers that should come here. And right to the edge of the screen. So there's one for Crazy Kong, and I have to actually have a Donkey Kong original one. I have a Crazy Kong one, so I'm not sure exactly which one I'll put. I'll probably because they're actually slightly different. Maybe I should just have the Donkey Kong here on one side. It's not exactly accurate, but it'll be kind of cool actually. Or I don't know, because I have Donkey Kong here. So maybe I'll just put these stickers. Now these guys are stickers, so once they're on, that's it. I can't just play with them. And actually they're a bit, yeah, they'll fit better. So they should be going here, and then this guy can be put back. What else have I got? Oh, Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, these should go here, and then we have the T-molding that I have, but I'm waiting for the wood veneer side to show up. So I'll do the wood veneer, cut it, and then I'll put the T-molding on top, and we'll be pretty much set. Almost finished. Still have a few days of work, but there you go. And look how good this all looks. So next on my list here for this, while I'm still waiting for the side art, sorry, the wood veneer decals, is to actually light up this marquee. And initially I thought about having like one of these, you know, like a incandescent neon bulb, or using LED lights like I have at the back, and buying strips of LEDs. There's 2 in there, but they're quite expensive. I mean, no, not overly expensive. I'd probably get away with like 50 euros, which is, but the price that would cost me, like, you know, if a whole fitting and transformer and everything. But I thought for here, what I have and what I've already seen by researching on a restoration for a Pac-Man cabaret, which hopefully will be my next project. But I'm jumping ahead here. But the Pac-Man cabaret has, instead of having a big neon, incandescent neon light, what it has is a board with 555 bulbs. These are these guys here, 555 bulbs, and they're used for the car, in the car industry, and pinballs. So the pinballs have all of these 555 bulbs everywhere. Maybe not these ones actually, but there's a few there, and I have a lot here. I have a lot of spare ones. So I thought I could actually build a board with a few of these fittings that are rescued from the poker machine that has become now the double dragon machine. But I've kept all these, and these are just holders for micro switches, and you can have a light on the button as well. So as you put the button in, and not these ones, you need different type of buttons, but as you put the button in, the light goes inside, and that's how you can have those buttons that light up. And then the holder for the micro switches here, but I don't quite need them. So I thought I could use them actually, because I have them here. I don't know, I have about 10 of these, so I could use them and make the board. So I'm going to do exactly that, and the board will be resting inside here, essentially against this guy here. So that should do the trick nicely actually. Should have a nice light. So I'm gonna I'll see if I can do fits 5 or 6. It doesn't have to be huge actually. I only need well, the length of this really. So there you go. Let's get started. So there you go. I have done this little board here, and it's the right width and height. I'll be able to fit the controllers on top of that. The back of it, so I just hot glued. Well, they kind of fit nice and tightly in the hole, but I hot glued the back as well just to make sure. And inside as well, it's hot glued. And then, so I have all these in parallel. Yeah, well, that's really all I have to say. So my connector is here. I'll be able to plug in the 12 volts straight from, I think there's actually 12 volt coming from the PCB. I'll have to double check. But I'll probably use the 12 volt on the switching supply. And there you go. So I'm going to fit that in the cab, and hopefully I'll get enough light to get, you know, something in the marquee. It should be okay. It's not going to be super strong. Maybe I should add 2 or 3 more. I'll see. So there you go. I was actually going to do another one here, but I don't think it needs it. But it should be plenty bright. So I'm just going to secure it here, and then I should have enough room. Yeah, there's plenty of room for everything else. So actually, I'll double check, because you just never know. Yes. Well, just yeah, it is wiggle room for everything. So there you go, and I think so. The The only slight problem with it is that this guy wasn't exactly designed to be opaque. So there's some see-through, but to be transparent. It's quite opaque in a way, but it should let it not light through. Yes, it does actually. Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah, as opposed to, I'm gonna switch this off. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, there's definitely a light. So that's the purpose. I don't want it to like flash, be super strong, but it should be strong enough that you see it, especially in the dark. Let's switch this off. Yeah, there you go. That really comes out, doesn't it? That's really cool, actually. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna put everything back in and secure the marquee lights. There you go. We have light. While I'm at it, I'm actually showing you how I'm putting down the wood veneer. So, like I showed you last time, you sort of align it, tape it somewhere in the middle, and then peel one side, take off the back, and then just kind of flatten it with a squeegee. Just make sure you get all the air out. There was actually a small crease here, but I don't mind that. I think it actually adds a bit to the to the cab. So it's actually looking not too bad. It's a very paper thin vinyl that I got from eBay, from China actually, and I think it does the job quite well. So I'm gonna keep going with this. So I have to do this side, the other side, and the top here, and then we'll be able to put the T-molding, which I have here. So it's finally approaching completion. Looking good. And let's keep going. Here's a quick update on my screen bezel. So, well, just the screen glass actually. So what I've done is I've put the plexiglass in place, and I've taped the outside where the monitor is, and on the other side I've just put some masking tape, and then masked off the area where the screen is, and painted the back of it. So it should, in theory, fit perfect. In theory, and yes, it does. And now we can't really see much of the back, and that was the plan, that was the idea. And I thought instead of using cardboard, that might not actually look very nice and professional. Not that this does, but let me take this off. I could use this technique directly on the glass, and just make sure that we don't have any back visible. And because the wood underneath is actually painted black, it should cover everything nice. Let's switch it on. I'm gonna have to find a better way to switch this on. I'll relocate this plug. So I'll relocate this plug here and make things a lot easier. There you go. Yeah, this looks much better. We can't see the back over there, and then yeah, there you go. Oh, this is neat. This is very nice. As you can see as well, I've put some bolts actually in the panel. Like the holes were here anyway, and I didn't use round tops like that. I know these look not as clean, but I prefer these because essentially I bolted these in the wood sides here instead of using clamps, so the control panel is somewhat stable. I might replace them in time with a smaller version of these, and then and whenever I get clamps on the other side. But for now, these will have to do. And oh yeah, I don't think I did I do a video on the finished product? Well, maybe not. So here it is. I've put my T-molding in place, I'm gonna have to find a place for this guy. Initially I didn't want to have it visible, or will I? I can do something like here where I can actually hit the credit buttons. I don't really want to put it, I think the best place would be here, but I really don't want to do that. I kind of want to have it as legitimate, look as legitimate as possible. And I don't know, I have to think about it. I still want to put a door, so maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go. Or I could actually put it at the back, have it here. Oh no, or no, actually I can't, because that's where the monitor is, the monitor. But as you can see, it's quite clean and tidy. Looks very nice. So the top is done as well. Look at this, how cool. Wood grain, as LGR would say. And the I wasn't sure if the brown was going to be brown enough. It's probably a bit lighter, and I think the wood grain on the original is darker, but you know what? I think it looks the part. It looks really cool indeed. Let's move that away for now. And so that's the progress. I think actually we might end this video here. I'm not sure when I'll get the coin door. And I have a coin door like this one, but I kind of want a Nintendo coin door on this. And they're a bit different. They're squarer, uglier. They're not very nice, but that's what was on the original, so that's what I'm gonna go with. And you can get repro coin doors, but I think I want to get an original on this one. I might as well. In time, I'll get a proper leaf switch controller and leaf switch buttons to go here. There you go for now. Displays just fine and looks just fine as it is. What a project this has been so far. It's really interesting. It was a cool first project to build a cab. And the size is just right, you know. Here it's not it's quite tidy and very limited in size, so it's perfect. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.